Hey guys, I'm Leo, and for today's video, I'd like to show you how to make Tsubuan. This is very basic filling for wagashi Japanese sweets. I think you have been waiting for this recipe. There are mainly two kinds of sweet bean paste which are often used for filling and are called anko in Japan. One type is Tsubuan, which means bean paste with half of the beans remaining their shape. And the other one is Koshian, which means strained bean paste. Have you watched one of my videos on how to make Koshian? Koshian is very useful to make wagashi like this. But if you want to make these kinds of wagashi, you need to know how to make Tsubuan. Of course, you can get it at Japanese food markets, but the Tsubuan you make is especially delicious for you. Actually, there are a couple of tips to make it delicious, which I will show you later in this video. Okay, let's get started. First, please prepare azuki beans. The amount of tsubuan will be about 3 times the weight of the dried azuki beans. Today, I will use 1 pound of azuki beans. The finished tsubuan is expected to be 3 pounds. Please prepare 10% more sugar than the weight of azuki beans. So, 1.1 pounds of sugar. Next, check whether there is any damaged azuki bean pieces like beans with warm holes or an odd color or beans whose skin is broken. You may find quite a lot, but don't hesitate to remove them so the bean shape is kept as you boil them and you can make high quality tsubuan. Also, you should select good azuki beans, especially when you make tsubuan, because you eat the whole bean including the skin, but when you make Koshian, you strain the boiled beans in order to remove everything but the content of the beans. Then, rinse the azuki beans thoroughly with the water to remove any dirt. When you usually boil beans, you want to soak them in water overnight, but azuki beans soften relatively quickly, so soaking is not necessary. Then, put the azuki beans on high heat with 1.5 times the water. This process has mainly 2 points to make tasty tsubuan. First point is to make the beans boil quickly, and the other point is to remove the astringency component of the azuki beans. I will explain in more detail now. After a couple of minutes of boiling, add 4 cups of cold water. It is said that the rapid drop in temperature of the water makes it easier for the azuki beans to absorb the hot water, allowing them to boil quickly. It will take some time for the water to reboil, so remove the additional amount of water. Do the same thing again, as one temperature drop is not enough to shorten the boiling time. You may notice that the color of the water is getting darker. That means more astringency is coming out of the beans with the color of the azuki skin. Return the water to a boil each time after water is added. You see how it's getting darker. After repeating this around 3 times and it begins to boil again, drain the water. Pour some running water over the azuki beans. By doing this, you can remove the astringency component of the azuki beans thoroughly. At this time, the red beans are little wrinkled and not yet soft. Then, put the azuki beans back into a pot and add water until it covers the beans fully, and put on high heat. When it comes to a boil, reduce the heat. If the beans are boiled too much with strong heat, the beans will lose their shape. And if you put too much water, the beans can easily move which causes their skin to break. You don't have to worry as much when you make Koshian, but be careful when you make Tsubuan, because you want to keep the shape of the beans. Next, continue to cook until the beans get soft enough, for about 40 minutes to 1.5 hours, though it depends on the kind of azuki beans. If you have fresh harvested azuki, it usually takes a shorter amount of time. Okay, so be sure to add the water occasionally when the beans absorb water and grow and when the water evaporates. If the beans come to the surface of the water, that part won't become soft and will cause uneven boiling. This is the boiled state after 30 minutes. You can see that the azuki beans gradually expanded and absorbed the water. I will show one of the ways to check if the beans are ready. Try crushing the well-chewed beans with your fingers. If you can easily crush it completely, the boiling process is complete. If the bean core is still hard, boil it further. After the beans boiled for an hour, they still have a hard core, so it needs to be boiled more. This time, I boiled them for a total of 1.5 hours. Place a mesh colander in a large bowl and pour in the boiled beans with the soup. You just remove the soup in this process. Now we are in the final process. Mix sugar with the beans and heat them. First, put a cup of water and measure the sugar in a pot and heat the mixture. As the sugar melts completely and the water starts boiling, add the boiled beans. You can let it just heat up. First, use a spatula to stir to avoid burning. But at the same time, you don't want to break the bean shape as much as possible, so mix them carefully with a spatula like this. You can see there was some more water at the beginning and now it's almost gone. Tsubuan is half smashed bean paste, but you don't need to smash them intentionally. By mixing them like this, it ends up being nicely half smashed bean paste. When the beans look about this softness, the heating process is done. Now, let it cool down by separating the beans like this in the pan. It still looks moist, but the beans will absorb water and get hotter as it cools. So, you need to adjust the moistness depending on what you want to make with the tsubuan. If you remove too much water, you can add water in the beans and heat them again. But it is best to finish heating all at once. During the cooling process, residual heat removes some water, so please use a moist and dry cloth, not a plastic cover, to let air through. Okay, so I'll wrap it up now. In order to keep the tsubuan fresh and delicious for as long as possible, it is very important that it is not exposed to oxygen and that it doesn't dry out. So please wrap the tsubuan exactly like this in a wrap. It can be stored longer in the freezer, but please eat it as soon as possible. So here are the important points from today to remember. First, remove any damaged azuki beans. Second, pour cold water in a couple of times to allow the beans to boil quickly. Third, remove the astringency component of the azuki beans. Fourth, stir the heated beans gently as to not break the bean shape. Fifth, keep the tsubuan in a wrap, not exposed to the air. And so each wagashi professionals has their own way to make tsubuan, like what kind of azuki beans you wanna use, or how long you wanna boil it to remove the astringency but keep the flavor of the beans. So you can experiment to make your favorite tsubuan, and also you can make various Japanese sweets using this tsubuan. I will soon upload a variety of recipes on this channel in the future, so please look forward to it and try it at home. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed learning Japanese culture with a focus on cooking. I'm gonna upload more videos about not only cooking but also tea ceremony and other Japanese cultural traditions once a week. So please look forward to it. And send a comment if you'd like to see or learn more about specific subjects. So, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, see you again soon. Bye!